Procter & Gamble provides the world with hundreds of consumer products in some 140 countries around the globe, employing over 94,000 employees worldwide, with sales in excess of $27 billion. For more than 150 years, Procter & Gamble's success has stood as a fine Cincinnati tradition of business excellence. From its doors, many models of innovative thinking and outstanding performance have emerged. But there are two individuals we'd like to honor today for their outstanding contribution, not only to Procter & Gamble, but also to Cincinnati's proud heritage. James N. Gamble was the son of James Gamble, one of the founders of the Procter & Gamble Company. After studying chemistry at Kenyon College, James returned to Cincinnati in 1857. At his father's insistence, he began working at P&G as a salesman. Within 2 years, his philosophy of using technology and science to find a better way merited a promotion to factory superintendent. In 1860, James N. Gamble made a decision that eventually would make P&G a household word. Cognizant of the political situation of the times, James traveled to New Orleans, where he negotiated an exceptional price on an entire boatload of rosin, a key ingredient used in the making of soap, found exclusively in the South. Shortly thereafter, the Civil War broke out, and the price of rosin skyrocketed. But since P&G owned a vast supply of low-cost rosin, it was able to win U.S. Army contracts for military soap and candles. By 1865, the P&G trademark was familiar to many returning veterans. In civilian life, they clamored for the products that served them so well during the war. In short, thanks to James, P&G developed a large customer base during the war. And after the war, P&G continued to expand, and James was an integral part of that growth. He created a research laboratory to perfect the formula that would become P&G's white soap, a soap equal in quality to the European Castile soaps, yet less in price. In 1887, he supervised the building of the Ivorydale plant and developed one of the first analytical laboratories in the country. One of James' most important contributions was his philosophy, which is the cornerstone of P&G's corporate philosophy of today. The company should never offer anything to the American consumer without a thorough test in home use conditions. Nor should the company sell a product without first knowing everything about it. The company's integrity should never be in a position where it could be questioned. Personally, James was a bundle of energy. He amazed co-workers with his frantic work schedule. He rode his horse from Westwood to Ivorydale every morning, and at 4:30 a.m. he was often the first one in the plant. He enjoyed horseback riding so much, it proved to be his sole means of transportation until he was 80. A man so enamored of technology, ironically refused to purchase an automobile until 1916. His community involvement and philanthropic ventures were many, but his favorite charitable cause was an extension of his father's endowment to Christ Hospital. Inspired by his grandson's sudden death caused by blood poisoning, James established the Christ Hospital Institute of Medical Research. James N. Gamble set many of the company's standards for a quality, tested product. His energy was contagious, and his passion for technological science and quality have indeed led Procter & Gamble in its quest to find a better way. William Cooper Procter was the grandson of the founder and son of the president of the Procter & Gamble Company. Fresh out of Princeton University, he joined P&G at the lowest level in the factory. His father believed that he could learn more in business than in academic corridors, and his father was right. As Cooper worked alongside the laborers, he learned their true feelings and opinions. In 1884, P&G employees worked 6 days a week from 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. and received 30 minutes for lunch. After experiencing this rigorous schedule for 1 year, Cooper urged his father to let the employees have Saturday afternoons off with pay. Finally, his father agreed, but the employees wanted more. Unions were formed, and P&G suffered 14 strikes in 2 years. Cooper realized something had to be done. He wanted to instill in his fellow workers that their interests were inseparable from those of the company. So Cooper talked his father and the board into profit sharing. At first, the employees looked upon the idea as trickery, but that all changed when they attended their first dividend day. Some employees found themselves enriched by 13.5% of their annual wage. Strikes diminished dramatically. In 1892, Cooper initiated a stock purchase plan for employees. In 1903, he added another incentive. He tied profit sharing to the purchase of company stock. To Cooper, profit sharing made sense on both business as well as humanitarian grounds. After World War I, Cooper instituted the Employees Conference Committee Plan, which allowed employees to be part of management and participate in adopting operating policies. Another example of Cooper Procter's leadership is that he instituted the search for P&G managers on college campuses. He recognized the company needed college-educated personnel, so company representatives traveled to universities and interviewed recent graduates. In 1924, Cooper formed the Market Research Department, which pioneered research in marketing by using extensive surveys to understand consumer wants. This eventually evolved into the Consumer Research Operation. Under Cooper's direction, P&G sales rose from 20 million to 200 million. And in keeping with Cooper's philosophy, the company gave their employees the 5 things every worker wants: good employment conditions, reasonable work, provisions for old age, a voice in company affairs, and employment security. His community involvement and philanthropic ventures paralleled his business successes. He was chairman of the Cincinnati chapter of the Red Cross for 18 years. He was chairman of the War Chest campaign, served on President Wilson's Council of National Defense, was general chairman of the Community Chest and the Children's Home. He donated $2.5 million to Children's Hospital, and much, much more. But perhaps Cooper's greatest accomplishment was the respect and admiration he received from his fellow employees. 5 years after Cooper died, during the height of the Depression, employees pooled their resources and, with additional support from the company, erected a marble monument on the grounds of Ivorydale dedicated to their hero, William Cooper Procter.